mum and dad often would argue, and it was usually around finances.
And so as a child, did you see yourself as rich or poor?
Probably poor, behind closed doors. So, in terms of what we would show externally, I think that my parents, like my dad was a really high income earner, but they would probably, you could say, spend more than they had.
Yes, which
so
is so normal. That is so normal.
Yes. Yeah. So we had like cars, and then they were decent cars, but you could look at it on paper, and we all went to private schools, and dad had a good income, so it looked externally, but I'd never had any birthday parties or anything like that, because the house was always getting renovated or doing something. It wouldn't necessarily match up to what my peers had.
Yes. Yeah.
So I would always go and get invited to like holidays with my friends, but my family never went on holidays. It was just purely sacrifice for the school fees and therapies for my older brother, and that was it.
Yeah.
I think now I'm in a really good place financially. I feel confident. That would be a really good word. I feel proud. I still feel a little bit anxious because I know that I've made some mistakes, and that's not good. And I know that I have a tendency to, probably slip up every now and again, and be, in denial with my own frivolous spending. It's good to feel like, because being a psychologist, it's good to feel guilty, right? Because then you're talking about a behavior. But I think when I have made financial mistakes in the past, in my early 20s, late 20s, I was probably feeling shame about it. And I would tell no one. And that's when you feel like you're a bad person, rather than you did a bad thing or you made a mistake.
What advice would you give your old self with what you know today?
If you look for the right people with the right knowledge, it'll be okay. And that's really important, because and also, even if what you had envisioned didn't work out, it'll be okay. You'll be all right.
Yeah. What was your next step? What did you do?
I'd done the hard yards. Like I got myself out of debt, which was one thing, but I'd made a kind of a promise to my fiance that we would be saving towards the wedding. So I was just spending what I made and not saving. So I guess, what did I do next? And I said, look, I still, like, he had been helping me a lot. And he was like, why aren't you contributing to the wedding fund that we've put together? And I said, well, and we had a big tiff about it. And I said, well, I don't know, like, I'm not doing it. So yeah, I guess that we had a big argument, as you do. And then I said, well, I just can't manage finances. I don't have the knowledge. I'm not that great at it. You know this. That's why you've been helping me for the past however long. And I said, well, and also it wasn't fair to him, because I mean, he's great with money. He's really frugal. He's awesome. And that's why I guess I depended on him to kind of take that. And also, it had been modeled to me through my parents' dynamic, except it was a role reversal. My mum did all of the finances, and dad just, worked and said, hey, where's my money? And that was me, so I was just kind of not in a negative way or financially abusive way. I had access to all my accounts, everything like that. It was just that I never done it. and
Yeah.
I didn't know how to, and I didn't know have the mathematical like I'm really good at stats. I'm really good at, book learning and mathematics in a rote learning way, and that kind of thing. But in terms of the day to day and working it out and predicting it, I just don't have the time, and I didn't, it wasn't a
Yeah.
priority for me.
Yeah.
How can I trust you with money? Uh, is what Adam was worried about. He's like, I want you to be able to figure out your own finances
Mm,
and trust
mm,
you, basically. So it boiled down to trust. Because I had kept, just in the past, sorry, I'd kept my financial situation, I guess, under wraps pretty well,
mhm.
similar to what I'd grown up with at home.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'd been together for 13 years, but around 7 or 8 years into it, we're starting to get serious. Like, I'm in my later 20s, and he's in his early mid 30s, and then I think, we'd been on and off, but we were now like ready to commit and plan. And
Yeah.
well, he actually found you because he's really good. So I think he found you on Facebook, I think it was, and he'd heard about Essential Spending Planner, and he often goes to the like property seminars and is really
Mhm.
good in terms of networking and things. So he'd actually found you, and he said, right, I think I know this would be way better for you and your
Yeah.
situation. And it's actually going to teach you, as you said, Sherry, it's going to teach you how to fish.
Say, what were the struggles? And you kind of have mentioned a few that you had, your financial literacy kind of,
Oh, so bad. Um,
yeah.
my struggles. Well, three key things is that I'd always seen people borrow money.
Yeah.
So that was a
Normal.
huge struggle for me
Mhm.
to accept that it's not okay, like you're going to have to pay it back, and
Yeah.
this is real life. So like, that was a huge thing, and you're messing with your own life and how serious it is, and I
Mhm.
didn't realize how serious it was. So that was a few key struggle moments for me. Is
Did you
uh,
have this sense of entitlement and have your head in the sand, just think, hey, my friends are doing it, so I'm going to do it. And
yeah,
I
that was a
deserve it
huge
because I
thing.
work hard.
Yeah, so I had look, I didn't really drink, I didn't really smoke, I didn't go clubbing. I was a very kind of technically good,
Mm,
not that's bad, but I wasn't a party animal.
mm,
My only struggle was probably material things, like and experiences. So, like, clothes and fashion. I loved clothes and fashion. And so that was a huge thing for me. And I didn't realize how, $50 here, $100 there on a dress, or $50 on makeup, and it adds up. And when you swipe, it was a sense of entitlement when you swipe the credit card. Oh, I'm going to be this psychologist one day.
yeah.
I can pay it
Yeah.
off.
I'm just going to, yeah.
I'm working so hard,
Yeah. You were practicing spending on the wage that you're
before
going to make in the future.
my early 20s. Like, I got myself into like 40 grand's worth of debt. A part of that was a car. So,
Mhm.
it's not as bad as what I think people, like, she didn't just spend 40 grand on
Yeah. Yeah.
like clothes.
Yeah.
So part of that I think was like a car. I think I can't remember how much the car was, but it was probably around, I don't know, 17, 18. And then I had a few holidays around Australia with my then who's now my fiance. But he was a lot older than me, and I didn't have that kind of money, and I didn't want
Mhm.
to miss out. So
How did it make you feel when you got to the point where you had to, that you realized, I got to stop this and I have to start getting this paid off?
it was pretty bad because the point was, I think that like you said, I realized how bad it was when you have that reflective uh, moment, and it's only through relationship that presented its gravity to me.
What motivated you when you had that 40,000 debt? What were those feelings that was your motivation that I need to do something different. I need to get rid of this debt? How was it
Um,
feel?
it was extremely traumatic. You know, I would call it financial trauma, because I think it is a form of trauma. It's accumulative, and it's like the boiling frog. It gradually builds up, and you don't realize it until it's too late. And I think with my part, well, I should say it's never too late. But my partner, you know, he sat me down and he's like, I see a future with you. Like, we're like in a really good place. And then I got huge anxiety and fear about disclosing my financial status to him, because at that point I was making out that I'm really good with my finances.
Yes.
And like, you don't need to worry about anything, baby. I got you back. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
this really good person.
Yeah.
It's all good and dependable and reliable. Because I was really kicking goals in every other aspect of my life. But then I guess sadness, and because he was potentially like, oh my God, I don't know if this is a deal breaker. You kept
Yeah.
this from me, and I don't know like what to do, and this is really, and that was kind of like, because he was my best friend, and I was like, and my partner, and yeah, he was like shocked. So I think
Yeah.
it was a combination of shock, fear, trauma,
Yeah.
just a,
And
yeah, numbness, and
yeah.
just going through the motions there. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me
Yeah.
how many years it took you to pay it off and what you ate.
Oh, um, yeah. Well, I actually, yeah, probably I would say all up around 3.5, maybe 4 years. But at that stage, it came at quite a cost health wise. So,
What things come to mind? What were your feelings when you got out of debt that day where you paid it off?
you know, and it was just pure joy, Sherry. It was happiness, and pride. Um, felt like yeah, I was kind of in a good place for the first time. And
Were some benefits, a couple benefits of doing it as a group? Did that bring you anxiety? Some people think, oh, or what was a couple benefits of doing it with others?
Everyone's at a different place and different part of their journey. But just you know, we would, in the conversations, we would connect, and like we would be looking at a video or content about the spending planner, and then someone would say, you know, something in the group chat, and it would just be nice and encouraging to see those positive statements and words of affirmation from fellow group people that were very similar in trying to learn or gain access to a tool that could help alleviate some of their stress. And then also that fear of judgment, I guess, is not necessarily a thing for me. I guess I'm insecure in other ways in my life. But when it comes to finances, I guess, you know, so many of us have financial
Oh,
issues.
yeah.
And like, I'm not concerned around that aspect. I'm more external, like how I look, or you know, that kind of thing. And that's my biggest insecurity that I've got to work on. But yeah, it was certainly good to have people there, just the positivity, hearing other people's stories, and that knowing that I'm normal.
Yes.
And that I am not a freak, that everybody is probably, if you have a question, there's probably 2 or 3 other people in that group like also like, good question.
Yeah. Here, just 3 months later from when you met me, what has and you trusted me and you decided to join the spending plan, how has it impacted your daily choices in that time? And I'll just give you a little hint: pizza.
Oh, yeah. What do you mean by, like pizza? Maybe I don't get pizza. I don't know.
No, I'll just share. You were sharing that your fiance wanted to do pizza that night, and in the
I
past
just
would have
shut him
been,
down.
yep, let's
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
But instead,
That
what
was
did you
last week.
say?
Yeah, I said, look, I'd love to, but I can't afford it. And
Yeah.
I didn't know that I couldn't afford it. And I'm not used to saying that, like to say no. But it worked out in my favor because he paid for my chicken wings and I got
Yes.
free chicken wings because he wanted me to enjoy that with him. And
Yeah.
but I was quite happy to cook dinner. We had food at home.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it reminded me of it would always be him saying, you can't afford that, like it's
Yeah.
not in your budget, and it's not an Excel spreadsheet. And then I'd be like sulking and being a child, but this time
Yeah.
I was like, no,
Yeah.
love you, but you can have pizza, it's also fattening for us. But it was kind of nice to get to get that I'm not going to say power, but just
Well, you were the
knowledge.
parent at that point. Well, you were being your
Mm.
own
Parent, yes, I
parent
was
of your
taking.
own finances. You didn't
Yeah,
need someone else to tell you. You told him, you actually, showed
yeah,
him that you are now taking over that role that
yeah,
you so wanted.
yeah. Look, you've got nothing to lose, it's and everything to gain, because it's yes, I actually think that if you went to some other place, or you did nothing, it's a lot worse. It's a lot worse. So you have to come up with a plan to change. But I think that you will get there. Like, it's not the end of the world. It's not. Let's not catastrophize. You might not be able to afford it just yet, but at least have a plan in able to get you into the course, the eight weeks, so that you can kind of meet some people, learn, or even just like, I was even thinking for my dad, to help him, because he's ready to retire as well. Like, it's all different types of people. Credit card debt, or it doesn't look okay. You don't have the money, but talk to people. They who want the best for you, and maybe it could be a birthday present, or a Christmas present to you, to actually, and that takes a huge step for you to admit that, hey, it's like Alcoholic Anonymous, right? Like, the first step is admitting that you've got a problem. And if you can get through that hurdle and say, shit, like, oh, I don't want to live like this. I've had it. I've had it. This is toxic. I'm hurting myself. I'm embarrassed. I'm talking to my children, and in their like, no one. You can't keep living like that. You've got to think, okay, I've got to come up with a plan to at least meet some people and want to have a better life. And it's a little bit of pain for a lifetime of relief. And you know it, it will trickle into the other areas of your life. So instead of kind of wallowing in your self-pity, or kind of, maybe you might I don't know, go and get smokes, or go and just make it worse, which we all do with eating, and spending more on the credit card, just going nuts. I mean,
Yeah.
like, I must say, I had huge anxiety in the week leading up to the 8 weeks, and I went a little bit crazy. I'm not going to lie.
your
I
last little,
I did. It was kind of like before you go on a diet, but I realized that, I kind of overspent. I bought a little bit too much than what I should have. You might find that might happen to you too, but at least if you've got that week, you'll realize, oh my gosh, it's actually, what was I worried about? Like, I mean, it'll be worth it, and you got to make the change. I think it's got to come from the heart. Yeah. For me, it's something that when you've lived it, it's not going to happen overnight. It will take time. That's why even the 8-week course, like, things happen, families get sick, things change, but that's why I'm in the membership, because I'm like, well, this is a pattern. I know I'm vulnerable to messing up again. It's like, okay, a smoker, they're at a party, people are smoking, you want a cigarette. Like, I know that I I'm vulnerable to wanting what I want when I want it, and I've got to take accountability, and eventually I'd like
yeah, and you will get there at the moment.
but for now I'm like, no, I need like, for so many years I've had, my partner, and so to transition to just cold turkey me on my own, I know that's not good for me. So I have to get that one-on-one support. It's like I don't know, I don't see it like a personal trainer, but it's like a financial therapist.
Yeah. I'm a mentor. I mentor people. I motivate people.
Mentor.
And that's what I do. And I've had many ones in mine as well.
Thank you, Sherri. Yeah. Thank you for everything.